Hello and welcome to your favorite show on the internet where two dudes sit on a couch, drink beer, and talk about the week's tech news.
Nice.
Are
Hello.
we drinking beer today, Kieran?
We are not drinking beer.
We're not. So, for the last couple of episodes, we haven't been drinking beer. Today we got wine.
Cheers.
Cheers.
You kind of figured, why not, right?
Why not? That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you got, Kieran?
Okay, let us have a look at what's happening in the world of tech, shall we? I thought one of the biggest or most interesting stories out of this week is Minecraft Earth. Have you heard about this?
No, I have not.
So you're familiar with Pokemon Go.
Yes.
You remember playing that when it came out? I think it was
I have played that.
2016.
Yeah.
And it was like the hottest thing. It was very innovative and it just like took over. Well, Minecraft are doing that. And they have more ambitious plans, at least on day one. So full disclosure, I haven't really played Pokemon Go in like a long time. So I have no idea if that game has evolved since then. I'm going to guess that it probably has. But regardless, Minecraft Earth is what they're calling this AR game, which is a similar premise. You kind of you can walk around the world and you can use AR, augmented reality, to see things in the world that are not normally there. And in this case, it's all about Minecraft. So for question one, do you know anything about Minecraft?
I do. I haven't really played it as much as I would have liked to, but I know the basics pretty much.
Well, it's a game that I also haven't played.
We're not qualified to talk about this one single bit.
Look, but this is I think this is big news because it is a big thing that they're trying to do here, and Minecraft is a big thing as well. According to this article, something like 50% of Americans play Minecraft
regularly.
Maybe within some age category, but yeah, it's a huge deal. Microsoft bought the developer of Minecraft several years ago.
Yeah.
And they've been like growing the hell out of it.
Minecraft is huge.
Yeah.
It's very big. And it involves, for those who don't know, a pixelated character that walks around in a pixelated world and mines shit, right? And builds stuff.
I gather it's all about both mining and crafting.
Yes.
So,
as the name suggests.
Yeah, and there is much more of that in Minecraft Earth. So the biggest question is, do you get to mine like real world things? Can you become like a mine mogul? Is that what you're asking?
Is it like you go up to a tree and you hold up your phone and start hitting the tree and then you get
I hope so. So there's a few different like dimensions to this game. This article here from Polygon is basically the hands-on that this journalist got to have, like spend some time with the game. And it's got a few sort of facets to it. One of them is what they call tappables, which is kind of what you're talking about. And it reminds me of like the Pokemon Go Pokestops.
Yeah.
Where you can just be out in the world and like you see a thing and it you have to tap on it and you collect like resources from that. I get the impression there's more of them. Then maybe there's more of them than there are Pokestops. And that'll be important because you need that material to like craft things. So the other thing about it is that there are these centralized locations in local parks and stuff where you can do what they call adventures, which is kind of like a level in the game, but it's shared by everybody and you just rock up and you can play the level. I don't know too much about what kinds of things that would entail. Maybe it's more familiar to people who have played the games, you know?
But it involves crafting stuff and mining stuff, as the name suggests.
In this case, I think it's about like defeating enemies.
Okay.
And what's cool about this is that it's just a thing that is happening in like your local park and you rock up and you can like join in with everybody else in the park.
Yep.
So this is like an interesting application of AR, I think, because people get to like make friends. You know, Pokemon Go one of the things it did is it got a lot of people out of the house, a lot of people walking around getting exercise when they were admitting that they otherwise wouldn't. And in this case, it sounds like there's more of a multiplayer aspect to this, and it could lead to people making friends.
And which is more exercise.
And more exercise. All good outcomes. So the other thing is, if you're not out of the park, you can do this like building process. So like, for example, on your kitchen bench, you just take out the app and then you can have a hologram on your kitchen table and you can build something. And then when you're done with that, you can actually go and kind of put that somewhere else in the world and other people can play in your world, it seems. So I don't know how, like, let's say you create something, because I know where you're going to go with this. Let's say you create a work of art and you want to put it in a public space. The question is,
I would want to do that, yes.
Is it just can I just do that? I don't know that that's explicitly answered here, but I feel like they're going to do something like maybe they expire. Maybe you can't just arbitrarily leave things everywhere.
Yeah. See, that would be cool. That would make me want to download it and go build a work of art in a public place, a predominant place. But, you know.
A work of phallic beauty.
I think what was great about Pokemon is it really made sense, because the world of Pokemon involves a lot of Pokemon just running around.
Yeah.
And the augmented reality was that lens for you towards that world.
Yeah.
It made it real. All of a sudden you had all these Pokemon around you. I don't know how this correlates with the real world. I don't think it fits all that well as Pokemon did.
Yeah. Apparently they have plans to make this correlate extremely well with the world in like a literal sense. I don't know about the gameplay wise. Maybe it makes more sense to people who have been playing Minecraft for years, because I don't really know what they actually do in the game. But what's interesting tech wise here, aside from the AR, is that the game is apparently doing some kind of a continuous mapping of your location, or the location around you, which is powering some kind of Azure database. So Microsoft is kind of using this as an opportunity to gather a shitload of data from the real world, which there are some privacy concerns there, but apparently they're saying that it's sort of sufficiently detached from like photos that you shouldn't be concerned. But what it's supposed to ensure is that everyone gets like the same experience, and like everyone is making this thing better. And that I think what it would lead to is the objects mapping to the world properly, like staying in place where they're supposed to be. And I think it's hard to tell from what material is here, but it sounds as if you point your phone around and you can literally see Minecraft world everywhere. Like they've projected Minecraft blocks onto all of the surfaces.
Okay.
Which means they need to know like a lot more about the world than, say, Pokemon Go.
See, that would be cool. You know, when you look through that lens, you could actually see the world as a Minecraft world, and then you could figure out what is stone, what is wood, what is a plant.
Yeah.
And then you can do stuff to it accordingly.
So they've got a trailer out, and it's a bit too high production, so you can't really see what the actual game will be like. On this article anyway, I don't know if there's more stuff.
Do you know if it's
going
to be free?
Yes, and how it's going to monetize, they haven't really stated yet. It seems they're still figuring it out. Probably it'll be like you can buy more resources, or you can buy the ability to like save more of your creations.
Yep.
That kind of thing. Hopefully not like ads everywhere.
Keep your public art exhibited for longer.
Yeah. So hopefully they've learned a lot from Pokemon Go, and it sounds as though they've got a lot of work in place around like safety, and making it possible for business owners to get like people out of their, front, like out the front of their place if they're not into it. Those kind of things that Pokemon Go had Yeah, they had these huge problems with thousands of people just rocking up in quiet neighborhoods.
But that was what was cool about it.
That was very unpredictable.
That was the cool factor of Pokemon Go.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this turns out. Someone commenting on this article did point out something that the article didn't mention, which is that there's a big question mark around battery life, because it sounds as though it's doing a lot more than Pokemon Go was in terms of constantly like recording video, constantly rendering things onto a screen. And people who were hardcore about Pokemon Go, they would go out for hours and play this. So
yeah,
I wonder if that will work out.
It was such a crazy period in time.
Yeah.
I remember just, walking down the street and there's people just, hovering around.
Yeah.
Nefarious areas.
It was kind of bizarre.
Their phones out.
People loved it, and that's the main thing.
It was strange.
Yeah, so...
but at least they got exercise,
So we can look forward to Pokemon Go, hearing more about this Pokemon Go. Minecraft Earth, coming out in a beta form, a closed beta in the middle of the year.
Cool.
So we can hear more about it.
We can try it out.
Yeah. We can finally learn how to mine and craft.
Yep.
So
that's cool.
That's the gist of that.
Awesome.
Moving on to something not as fun by the looks of it.
There's a good segue here because you talked about privacy and how Microsoft Azure is going to use this technology that people are just going to basically, they're crowdsourcing the users of this Minecraft Earth to gain some benefit. And as we know, that's something that's really common with the tech giants recently. Well, not recently, since forever, because these companies put out products that are free, but as we all know, nothing ever is free. So there's always a catch.
As they say, if you're not paying for the product, then you are the product.
Exactly.
Tends to be true.
Exactly. And so this story is about Google and how they're doing another weird thing yet again. So the title of the article is Google has been tracking nearly everything you buy online. See for yourself with this tool. So
nice.
Yes. Doesn't sound surprising, but what is surprising is they have this tool that not a lot of people know about, which you go on. It's basically a website. And my account at google.com/purchases.
Oh.
And it shows you a list of things that you've ever purchased.
From any website.
As long as the receipt was sent to your Google email or Gmail account.
Okay.
So
what's the purpose of this?
I have no idea. That's the thing. So Google says that to help you easily view and keep track of your purchases, bookings, and subscriptions in one place, we've created a private destination that can only be seen by you. Which is not totally true because it can also be seen by Google. And they do say as well that you can delete this information at any time.
Yeah.
Although you have to delete every purchase one by one. And
does this remind you of the voice search?
Yes, it does remind me of that. So once I logged on to my account at Google, went through the weird privacy settings and found this little space where it had recordings, all the recordings that I've ever made on my Google phone.
To search for
voice
things.
Clips. Yeah, to search for things, or every time I use the Google Assistant.
Which is a bit confronting.
And it was really creepy.
And you're like, why is that there?
Yeah, why was it there?
Shouldn't this be deleted?
And you can only delete it one by one. Some of the recordings weren't even me. It was people playing around with my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just...
Okay.
Sometimes you just, everybody knows that Google knows everything about you. And sometimes it's better if they almost don't mention it or don't even create these weird tools around it, because it just makes it creepier. All of a sudden it makes it real. And basically this tool shows you all your purchases that you've ever made. And in my case, I have purchases in there that I didn't even make. So I got sent an email about something that was coming out. I believe it was a computer or some sort of a stand for the phone that I didn't buy.
Oh,
But yeah, Google Tech thought that I had
Okay.
bought it. So it's not 100%. It's not 100% accurate, as is the case with the voice things. Not all of the voices were me. But they do say this, which is interesting. You can delete this information at any time. We don't use any information from your Gmail messages to serve you ads. And that includes the email receipts and confirmations shown on the purchases page.
huh.
And then you ask again, and so why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Like, this tool is not made for it to be helpful, because 99% of the people don't even know about this tool.
Yeah. Is this making the news because somebody found this?
Somebody
Or-
found it.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're saying that they're not using it for ads, but they're not saying we're not using this information at all.
Or like
So-
what this is what we're using it for.
Yeah. Not cool. It's creepy. Google, you should stop.
Yeah, it's a bit like, I don't know, it's like a useless cataloging of what's in your Gmail. Because I suppose are you someone who deletes emails? Like, is this?
I archive. I like to keep the
Yeah.
inbox zero going, and
Yeah, because I guess like for me, all of that stuff would be in there already, so it's not really a big deal. This is just like slimming it down. But of course, the question is like, why?
yeah.
What?
The big question
How does
is
this
why.
benefit me? How does this benefit you? Like,
Yeah.
hmm.
So that was the story.
Yeah, right. They could do a little bit more transparency, perhaps.
And yeah, recently Google has announced that they're doing more in terms of transparency, following the steps of Apple, and which is good to hear. But they're pretty late to the game, and they aren't particularly known for those things. So I guess we'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see if they're really going to change anything in their direction.
Yeah. Okay. So I saw this article, which it's about flying cars.
That's something that we've been waiting for a long time,
Yeah.
but there doesn't seem any developments in that front.
Well, you, sir, are wrong. There are indeed developments, but whether these things will lead to what people have in their imagination is a separate question. So, the news here is that there's an electric air taxi startup called Lilium, who has just completed a test flight, their first like proper scale actual takeoff test of a 5-seater aircraft that they're working on. Apparently,
were
they've
the
done
seats occupied?
I imagine they had weight in them. And so the test that they did was it kind of just took off and landed. It didn't really fly anywhere. And that makes sense if you think about what this is. It's a vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. And it kind of looks like, it's like this kind of pod, like an egg shape that's been stretched heaps. Really aerodynamic egg.
Yeah.
Aerodynamic. And it's got all of these,
It looks like a toy.
I want to say fans, possibly. Well, it says electric jet engines, but I don't know that would make sense. If it's electric, anyway, they can change where they're pointing.
Mm-hmm.
So they all point down when it's taking off, and then they just
shift.
rotate, and it goes,
Yeah.
which is straight out of like sci-fi.
Sci-fi, yeah.
And
And I bet you they're like blue lights.
well,
or
maybe
they should have done that
in the video.
if they haven't.
This particular aircraft is just pretty much white, so maybe they'll get more creative with that. But it's kind of a neat aircraft because it doesn't have any rudders or other mechanical flight directing apparatuses. I don't know what you would call those. It kind of just uses these to move around. I don't know if that makes it more efficient, but apparently it can do 300 kilometers, which is about 180 miles. And it can do it at a top speed of 300 kilometers per hour.
That's pretty good.
So it can fly for an hour and go 300 kilometers.
I have a concern.
Yes. Just one?
We'll start off with one. See, people use airplanes to fly around. And airplanes are very secure. They're one of the safest modes of transportation, as we know. But people are still scared shitless from flying. Just because of the fact that if anything happens, there's nothing you can do. Everything is outside of you. It's a
You fall out of the sky, is what you're saying.
Yes. Which can be true to car accidents as well. But because you're in the air, there's this illusion that you truly are helpless.
You're not a nervous flyer, though.
I'm not, no.
I am. So, I mean, yeah, I look at this and I'm like, do I really want to be in this? And you're not going to go far. So this is kind of like I imagine they're going to want to use this for stuff that you would currently use a helicopter for if you owned a helicopter. So maybe a trip over a body of water that is too slow to go across otherwise. And there's no good like landing spots, so the vertical takeoff and landing might help.
Yeah.
But these people are doing this because they believe it's going to be the future. Like at some crazy scale, everyone will have one of these.
It's inevitable. Maybe it's in all the movies. At some time in the future, somebody's going to do it.
Yeah.
So good on them for, putting their hand up and wanting to be that way.
Oh, they're not the only ones, by the way. There's apparently quite a lot of people working on this.
Yeah, but still, there's that fear of flying that people have. There's the fact that airspace is not, the regulations are not there yet, right? For
yeah, I think that's
that
got the most question marks around it because as we saw in Fifth Element, right? It's chaos
it
out
is
there.
chaos.
And if you scale this up, you're going to have three-dimensional traffic systems.
And if things happen to those things, they fall onto other people, they fall onto buildings, and and I think Elon Musk said, it's better to go down than up. He did say that.
Taken out of context, I'm sure.
Well, it was talking about the Boring Company.
Oh, right.
Where they are trying to
transport strategies.
Yeah. In terms of transport strategies, they're taking things underground with the Hyperloop and their tunnels and stuff, because it's a lot safer, as he put it, and it'll make the airspace a lot less crowded.
There's going to be crowding on tunnels too. Someone will drill a tunnel through someone else's tunnel.
But when you're in the tunnel, you don't see other tunnels. So,
true. Ignorance is bliss.
Aesthetically, that might be better.
Well, anyway, on the sort of certification front, their strategy is to keep a pilot on board. So this is not an automated craft, but or at least it's supervised. I'm not sure. But you would still use, advanced tech like apps to summon one. Is the idea.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like to see it in action, I guess.
It just seems like there's a fundamental technology problem here with the fact that it's electric. Because the batteries aren't really the amount of efficiency they can get out of these devices is not as good as you get with like jet fuel.
Yeah.
Which is what is mentioned in this article. So, yeah, but this is how these things happen. People have a crack,
and batteries will get better over time as well. I believe there's a lot of things relying on them to get better. Like electric cars and such. Cool. That'd be really cool, I think.
Something to look forward to that isn't Minecraft.
But until then, the next best thing, aside from flying cars, is this thing that Spotify put out, which they call a car thing.
This is for your road car.
Yes.
Your non-flying
so
car.
your regular car, Spotify is sort of getting into the hardware space, and they're putting out this dongle-looking device that they're calling the car thing. Which,
it does look weird.
Yeah. I should mention that this is not a consumer device that they're putting out. It's merely a test that they're like sort of a beta test that they're doing, and so they're gonna give these devices to select people to see how they interact with it and so on and so forth, see if it's a viable thing for them to pursue.
So what does it do? They're calling it a thing.
It's a car thing. It looks like a car thing. It goes into your car. It plugs into your cigarette lighter thingy.
Oh yeah.
And it's voice powered, so you talk to it and you say, "Hey Spotify, play this song. Hey Spotify, do this. Hey Spotify, do that." And that's pretty much it. It's hooked up to your phone by Bluetooth. It knows about your Spotify account. It can play you your playlists, and so on and so forth. But it's interesting because it shows that Spotify really wants to get into the hardware game, because it currently is on a lot of closed platforms like Apple and Google that don't really allow it to do such things. So the only way to do it is if you put out your own hardware.
But what do you think? Why do you think they want to do that?
Because they said, this is quoting Spotify, they want to be. I totally lost that quote. I'll give you another quote. "We might do similar voice-specific tests in the future, so don't be surprised if you hear about the voice thing or the home thing." So they're getting into the hardware space, and they're trying out things, which is cool. They've recently purchased a whole bunch of podcast companies, so they're getting more serious about podcasting.
Yeah.
They're really betting big on podcasting, I guess you could say that. And but in terms of the app space, or if you look at it, they're just a single app on your iPhone or on your Android phone. And if they want to be the podcast app, or they want to have a bigger platform, they want to have a bigger presence, they have to put out their own hardware.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're just another app.
I think it's got a lot to do with the fact that a lot of people would listen to things in the car, and it's a very different environment, and they wouldn't really necessarily be able to tell that that's the context you're listening in. Yeah. But if you have one of these, and they do, so they could probably do a lot more different things. And as we talked about recently, the like ads that you can navigate with your voice as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's just another way that they can potentially bring in more monetization options for people who are just on the free plan somehow.
Yeah. Which is cool. All innovation is good.
Yeah.
And that's what we like to cover on this show as well. But sadly, we're running out of time, ladies and gentlemen.
That's how it goes.
So this will be it for this week's episode of the No Signal Show, which is your favorite show where two dudes on the couch sit and drink beer, sometimes wine,
something,
and talk about the week's news and tech. So see you next time.
Peace out.
And subscribe.
And like, if you like.
And hit the bell.